everyone, I'm Zainab Wright, and joining me we have the esteemed Sheikh Ali Mwega. He also goes by the name Alin Jorogo. I hope I'm saying it right, Sheikh. And he is from Kenya and currently studying in the Al Mustafa University in Qom, Iran. And Sheikh, I'm so honored to have you with us here today. In light of everything going on around the world, it's just a beautiful time, I would say, for with people rising up against injustice. And I want to focus on something very interesting and something I feel like I've as a Muslim have been kept in the dark about when it comes to Islam and the treatment of Black lives. So Sheikh, can you expand on racism in Islam? What is Islam's stance on racism?
Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب صلي وسلم وزد وبارك على محمد خاتم النبيين وعترته الطاهرين وسلم تسليما. اللهم صل. Thank you, Sister Zainab, for your program, and I've been following you on your social media. Mashallah, you have been doing, mashallah, really great work. May Allah bless you and accept your work, inshallah. Regarding my name, I think this is something maybe new for some people in not all Africa, but in Kenya and some other places in Africa, especially, let me say, my tribe, we don't have a family name. Yeah, so you go by your religion name. For example, I'm Muslim, so I'm Ali. If I was Christian, for example, I would have been John, Peter. And your tribal name, so that's Njoroge for me. Yeah, some call it title, some call it, but it's a name, it's on your passport. Yeah, we don't have a family name, but because my dad is a sheikh and is been known as Mwega, even though that's also is not his name. So we use Mwega as Mwega families in Kenya. They know us as Mwega. That's why I'm saying Ali Mwega. So, and it's Njoroge, not Njorogo.
Njoroge. Okay, Njoroge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's one.
Do you speak Swahili?
Yes, I do speak Swahili.
Okay. I feel I forgot. I'm from Africa. I'm from Tanzania. I left there to America when I was 9. So I remember some words, but I've forgotten like the actual. Yeah.
I hope it's not the words that we have on the Disney World, Simba, Hakuna Matata.
No, like I can get by. I can have a normal conversation, but not the hard words. I can't. But
so they can't call you in the market.
Exactly. I can go and I can survive basically.
You can survive. That's fine. That's fine. So regarding your first question on our topic, what does Islam say about racism? Yeah. To explain that, I would like to first start with the point of history. We'll be talking a lot of history on this discussion, inshallah. But I want to say, why should we research more history about Islam? So when we do research, there are few things that would help us. One, it would show the relationship of early Muslims and other people from different countries, different cultures, different race. And also it will give us some answers, because definitely some of the problems that we have, they had. So we can borrow some of the resolution that they got and the ways that they use to fix some of their problems. That's why some people say if you don't study history, you'll end up just repeating it.
Exactly.
So we can learn things from there. And definitely, because we had the Prophet ﷺ during those times, definitely the things that he said and taught the Muslim during that time, we can definitely still use them during this time, because we believe Islam is not limited by time. It is for forever use of the humanity. So let's see what does Prophet ﷺ says about racism. Prophet ﷺ was in a community, let's say the Arabs, who are highly and very racist people.
Yeah.
And also, I think you can know the Arab and Ajam.
Mm-hmm.
For them, when you say Ajam, some people think they talk about Iranians and the Persians.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone who was non-Arab for them was Ajam.
Mm-hmm.
So me, I'm from Africa. Some would say you are Ajam also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So everyone who's not Arab is Ajam. It was easier for them to say that this guy is Ajam instead of saying, where are you from? From Kenya. He's Kenya. No, everyone is Ajam. We are Arabs. They are Ajams. Simple.
Mm-hmm.
And they also had the tribalism in them, this tribe, that tribe, and during the time of Jahiliyyah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Prophet ﷺ, when he came, he tried to help the peoples during that time to fix this problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see some of the early Muslims that the Prophet ﷺ were slaves from different nationalities and
Exactly.
people from based on if you see the tribes, they were tribes that people did not like them or seem they look at them as less people than them,
Mm-hmm.
lesser than them. So what the Prophet ﷺ, he said that there is one thing that will determine that I'm better than you,
Mm-hmm.
your taqwa, piety. If you have faith, if you are light inside, you are white inside, you are better than me. If you are, for example, you are light, but la samahallah, deep down, you are just a dark person in your heart, in your soul, you are less than me.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. So what determines you better than anyone else or someone else better than you is your character.
Mm-hmm.
If you are good, you are good. If you are bad, you are bad. Simple. Not your color, not your nationality, not your tribe, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the general way of Islam.
Mm-hmm. So I want to talk a bit about the I guess the connection between Black history in Islam and Africa. I know there's a rich history in Islam when it comes to, when we go into the African continent. Can you expand more about this?
I think let me start with something from now. Currently, if you Google the Islamic continent, they will just tell you it's Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we have higher percentage of Muslims than any other continent in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So now, how did this happen? You
Mm-hmm.
know, we need to understand what and how happened so we can learn from it to do more tabligh and some of the our friends like to say dawah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't call people. Definitely there was a method that used during those times that made people come to Islam.
Mm-hmm.
So before see the early interactions between Muslims and Africa as continent. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when we talk about when it comes to Islam and talking about blacks and black people, we need to differentiate two things. We have the black people and we have the Africans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of the people of the time of the Prophet ﷺ were black, but they were not African.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there it comes the question: how comes people were black between Arabs?
Mm-hmm.
Generally, Arabs are known to be asmar. This is an Arabic term, and
Mm-hmm.
if you Google it, it means someone in between black and white.
Mm-hmm.
So when the usual Arabs during those times, let's say, if you look at the origin of Arabs, we can say some of them came from Yemen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you look at people of Yemen currently now, their colors, they're kind of brown, or let's say light brown. They are like that. So Arabs usually that was their original color. It was
Mm-hmm.
between, let's say, it was like light brown to darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Even some say the second Khalifa was Asmar. It was kind of dark, and also some other of the people during those times. Even some say the Prophet ﷺ also was Asmar, but he was light, not black, but he was light brown, based
Okay.
on some of the reports that we have in our historical books about the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So now when we say dark or black, some people were darker than usual. For example, now we have this joke in our culture. You know, I'm African, I can make these jokes, yeah. We say, for example, we have levels of darkness, even in Indian communities, in Iranian communities, in Russian communities. Every communities they say this person is dark, this person is white, this person is light. So we make this joke to, for example, to the light people in our African, for example, in Kenya, we say that in your family, you are an albino. Yeah. But when they take that person to another country, they call him black. I know people in Iran, yeah, I know people in Iran, they're Iranians, yeah. For us, they are white, but other Iranians call them black, or let's say dark. Even in India, even in Russia, you know, Russian are white, yeah, but between them they have dark and light. So it depends with the culture. So we can't say that this is the black, this is the white, this is the light, this is the dark. So when someone during the time of the Prophet ﷺ says that someone was light, yeah, or white, they didn't mean like he was white like Russians or the people from Turkey, yeah. They meant light person, like people from Yemen, lighter. Or he used, for example, say like he was brown light with some hint of red on that person. So that's the Arabic term of light when they say light person and dark person. So some people were dark during the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Some people were slaves. Yeah, they were white, but they were slaves. Yeah, so in the status in their community, they had a level. Their levels was less than other people. For example, Salman al-Farsi, he's Persian, but he was a slave. So for them, he was less. It didn't mean, for example, sometimes in some situation, didn't mean you are better than this person because of just your color. Also, if you are a slave, you are less than the other people. So when, yeah, very interesting. People
I
confuse
didn't know
these things.
Salman al-Farsi was a slave. Wow. So I think, see, this is the thing. When we think about slavery, it's equated to Africa. That's it. Like, it wasn't that, you know, people within their own communities were enslaved or their own culture. I didn't know this aspect. So thanks for bringing
Yeah,
it.
they had slaves even from Roman Empire. So
Yeah.
Europeans were slaves also.
Mm-hmm.
So slavery, because what they used to do when they were going to fight people, for example, these people of, let's say, for example, this part of Hijaz, they go and fight this other nationality. Yeah, after they have done everything, they killed those who are fighting, and everyone surrenders. So they take you as slaves. Yeah, so and they sell you in the market. So now the early interaction, or let's say the when was the first time that Africa met Islam? It was before the time of Hijrah to Medina. It was the first Hijrah. Yeah, during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, when he was still in Mecca. The interesting part is, when we look at the history, we can know these people had these characters in them. Yeah, for example, Arabs, they were known as to be kurama, they were generous. Yeah, these people were known to be, let's say, warriors. This culture and this nationality were known for this and that and that. So one of the things that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned when he sent people to Habasha, yeah, Habasha, currently some say Habasha starts, let's say, Ethiopia and some parts of Africa, East Africa. Let's say East Africa. Yeah, he said there is an empire who is just. You go to him. Yeah, he's Christians. He's Christian and he's also African, but also Prophet ﷺ calls him just. So they went there. And Alhamdulillah, everyone knows the story. I think everyone watched the movie, the Risala, the messenger. So they know what happened. And some say that we have also hadith that masters of people of the in paradise, some of the, let's say, masters in the Africans who are considered by the Prophet ﷺ in high status in Iman. Some of them, Prophet ﷺ mentioned Luqman, the one surah that we have. He was from Africa. He mentioned Bilal al-Habashi, the Bilal. And 3, he mentioned the king of Ethiopia. So that's the first time that Islam met Africa. And after that, also they sent another group of 80 people, the second hijrah to Habasha. And after some time, when the Prophet ﷺ, they immigrated and went to Yathrib, or now called Medina to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. These people came back to Medina. And some say by the, I think, 10th of Hijrah, they had 10 people who traveled from Yathrib, from Habasha to Medina, who converted to Islam during those times. Now, before you ask the next question, let me mention this point. Yeah. During the time of the second Khalifa, Umar, they were doing the conquering thing. Yeah, Futuhat. They went to Iran, the Persian part of Bilad al-Furs. Some came to Egypt. Yeah. And they tried also to come to East Africa, but they failed. Yeah. But the historians said that these people failed to conquer Africa through their sword and fighting, but they managed to convert people to Islam by business. You know, East Africa is a business community.
Yeah.
Over the past 1,000 years, it's a place of business. People from India, from people from even China, because I'm doing my thesis regarding the East Africa Islam and Ahlulbayt.
I was just gonna ask what your thesis was.
Yeah, we also have people from China who came to East Africa doing business.
How's your thesis coming along?
Inshallah, fine. Writing is not easy.
No, it's not. This is you're done with your master's, right? And this is your
yes. I've just only I must do my thesis, inshallah, and finish this part of my life.
So that's what I'm gonna just jump on that from what you just said. Sheikh has done his bachelor's in Islamic jurisprudence and Islamic studies, and he's done his master's in history of Ahlulbayt studies. So going on delving into your own expertise about the life of the Ahlulbayt, from your insight and what you've studied, can you tell us about the treatment of Black lives and Black people when it comes to the Ahlul Bayt in particular? But I'll leave you to kind of bring it all together for us.
Let me start by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah. I won't just talk about this part. When I talk about the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I won't talk about just Africa. I'll be talking about generally Black people and Africans all together. Yeah. As I said, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had this community who were tribalists and racists. So the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had to come up with a way to fix these issues. And they had their Jahiliyyah time, where the Arabs used to fight for nothing. They were just fighting for nothing. For example, you have your animal, it comes to my land, and for example, does something, I kill your animal, for example, the camel, and you come kill my son, I come kill your brother, and just funny things. They were fighting for nothing, let's say, nothing of value. what the Prophet did, we can see first when he came to Medina, he did this thing. He did Aktul Ukhuwa.
Mm-hmm.
Aktul Ukhuwa means oath uh, of brotherhood. Yeah, he said, you know what, we had our issues, our differences, and to fix these issues, I will be giving everyone a brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you'll be brothers, you'll be helping each other, you'll be together, and especially after people running, let's say, from Mecca, from the kuffar,
Mm-hmm.
or let's say from Quraysh. So most of the Muslims, they did not have anything, no money. Some did not have their wives and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that the Prophet ﷺ did, he gave these people, like he said that Ali is my brother. Yeah. So now you are an African, for example, and I'm Arab. So, but Prophet ﷺ chooses you to be my brother.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, me, when I see you as my brother, I forget the part that we are from different places, yeah, from different tribes.
Mm-hmm.
You see, still in some of the Islamic cultures, I believe even in Shia Muslim belief, on the day of Eid al-Ghadir, they recite the oath of brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
Aktul Ukhuwa, also in some countries. So you become brother with someone. You know, when you decide to become a brother with someone, you make some oath. Like, for example, if I die, yeah, if I have some issues, you will help me. You know, trusting someone with, for example, your family, your personal issues, that's something great. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you trust him so much to give him those responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
The Prophet ﷺ, we have Zayd bin Haritha. This person was a slave that, if I'm not mistaken, was given as a gift from Bibi Khadija or Sayyidah Khadija to the Prophet ﷺ.
Mm-hmm.
And he's amongst the three people who chose Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some say choosing. There is a debate of choosing. Some say because Imam Ali was young, he did not choose. And let's not talk about those topics. Yeah, but generally, we had Imam Ali,
Mm-hmm.
we had Bibi Khadija, and we had Zayd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zayd. Who was Zayd? Zayd is the only. Some say he was light, his son was dark. Some say he was very dark, and so it's kind of confusing. But apparently, some say he was Arab. He was not African, but he was dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, uh, he's the only Sahaba that his name was mentioned in the Holy Quran.
Wow.
Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
only Sahaba. So his son was Usama,
Mm-hmm.
Usama bin Zayd.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing that the Prophet ﷺ did, he chose this guy, this Usama, who was 19 years old, to be the general who lead people to war.
Wow.
19 years. So tribalism, racism, and also fighting people of age. You know, some cultures, if you have the age, you can do something. If you don't have this kind of this age, the young people are not allowed to do some things, which is sometimes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Some young people have the power to do many things, alhamdulillah.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that he did with Zaid, he married him. He married this Hashimiyah. You know, when we say Hashimiyah, yeah, we mean Sayyid. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
know we have this marrying Sayyid issue in some communities. Yeah, you are not allowed to marry a Sayyid, a Sayyida, a Sayyid lady. Yeah. So what he did also during those time, some people had those issues, yeah, because the Quraysh was Sayyids, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even in currently in fiqh, if you are from some part of, if you are Quraysh, or some say if you are Banu Hashim, you cannot receive sadaqat, but you receive homes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even right now, for example, if you are, I remember someone wrote a question to office of Ayatollah Khamenei that he said that I'm from Jafar, brother of Imam Ali, and said that you also allowed to get homes. Now, what he did, Zainab was Hashimiya. She
Mhm.
was Quraishi. She was a Sayyida.
Mhm.
He married her to who? To Zaid,
Really?
someone who was a slave, some who said he was very dark, some say not, but in short, to Zaid, who used to be a slave. So he broke those stereotypes during those times by things
And
for free.
Zainab, which Zainab?
Zainab bint Jahsh.
Josh. Okay.
Yeah, there is a whole part of, I think, a whole page of Quran regarding the story of Zaid and Zainab.
Wow.
The other thing that we see the Prophet ﷺ did, he he did not, for example, the story of Bilal.
Mhm.
Yeah, in the book of Al-Kashi, he's narrating that the Prophet ﷺ was sleeping, we, we, was sleeping, and he was with Imam Ali alayhi salam. So Jibril came to him and he called for adhan, or let's say he did adhan or recited adhan, yeah, to the
Mhm.
Prophet ﷺ.
Mhm.
So that was the first time that adhan was introduced to Islam. So Imam Ali had it also. And the Prophet ﷺ asked him, "Did you hear what Jibril said?" He said, "Yes." And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Go teach who? Bilal."
Mhm.
So Prophet ﷺ chose Bilal for
Mhm.
this duty. So he was the official muaddin of the Prophet ﷺ. If anywhere, for example, it was a call for adhan, it was Bilal. And the
Mhm.
Prophet ﷺ loved.
Mhm.
Definitely, some people were jealous because, for example, me, I see Prophet as my cousin.
Mhm.
And this person who used to be a slave was given this duty of calling for prayers by the Prophet ﷺ. Some did not like it, but the Prophet ﷺ tried his best by giving responsibilities, yeah, such that, and for example, the one that I mentioned about Usama, to
Mhm.
help and show people that everyone can do something for a community. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is not about your status, about your work. It's about your character.
I
You
really
can do
think
this, do this.
when I look at Hazrat Bilal's life, it's just so inspiring. He was actually one of the trusted slaves who was the gatekeeper of the idols. And he was just, when he heard the teachings of the Holy Prophet, he, converted to Islam. And even when he was beaten and tortured, he kept his
Ahad,
intact. So it goes back
ahad.
to that whole what you just said, before that there's no difference between us. It's the taqwa and the piety we have, and Hazrat Bilal had that, and that's what the Prophet saw. So when we go, so we've gone from Hazrat Bilal, you've talked about people who have been like huge part of our history, even the Holy Quran. You've talked about Hazrat Luqman. So tell us more about the mothers of the imams. So like, I guess from a general perspective, we have the 12 imams in Shia madhab, Shia ideology. um, and I'm not like sure like who is watching this, but from our perspective, we really revere these, obviously these 12 divine imams that are guiding us through life. And Can you expand more about their personalities and the treatment of Black lives, even as we go on to the Ahlulbayt?
I think Ahlulbayt learned how to treat Africans from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is well known that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, or he sent some of the Sahabas to different empires.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, he sent someone to Egypt
Mm-hmm.
to ask them to join Islam,
Mm-hmm.
like, because now it was the time for Islam to become a global religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what this person did, he gave the Prophet ﷺ some gifts,
Mm-hmm.
and some say that he was fired because Egypt during that time it was under ruling of the Roman, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. What Because they felt like this person is becoming a Muslim because he gave back some gifts to the Prophet ﷺ. One of the gifts that he gave to the Prophet ﷺ was Maria al-Qibtiyya,
Mm-hmm.
the only lady after Sayyidah Khadija to give birth to child of the Prophet ﷺ, Ibrahim.
Mm-hmm.
Ibrahim died, but Prophet ﷺ used to love her so much, and you can see that in the eyes of other wife of the Prophet ﷺ, mentioning her that why the Prophet ﷺ is in loves Maria Kiptia so much. Now, the Prophet ﷺ married her. Okay, some say it's not marriage because she was a slave, and the issue was a wife to the Prophet ﷺ, in short. Now, after the Prophet ﷺ, we have some say that Ahlulbayt, they used to get slaves, yeah, because they had some issues with the government. One of their ways of preaching Islam was taking slaves, yeah, buying slaves, teaching them Islam, and releasing them and with them free. And meanwhile, some of they used to marry some of the slaves. Yeah. And also from the Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, we have that he married from Africa. Imam Kazim also married he had African wife. He also Imam Al-Rida, Imam Al-Jawad, Imam Al-Hadi. Some also say that, and Imam Al-Hassan Al-Askari, based on some of the reports that we have. Almost six of imams, our imams, based on some of the reports that we have, their wives were from Africa. So there is something to study here. Definitely when you choose some people, you have a point. We all have some goals in life. Yes, you choose all for taqwa, or you see like this person will be good for your children. And the children that we are talking about here are the imams of the Shia sects that we have. So there is something to study here.
I just I'm 29 years old, right? And I'm a Khoja, African Khoja, and it's a sad reality that I am learning about this for the first time. And I can say the same for many people. I literally had a conversation with my family, my grandma. None, none of us. I mean, this is mind blowing to me because I've always felt like I'm such a great student of Islam and history, and I don't know, I have no words to say that I'm just baffled to know that I didn't know this, or that it's not made apparent. It's not something that is um, talked about in our communities and our cultures and our even from even from the pulpit. Many scholars don't speak about this. I come from a culture, like even in Africa, where the Indian community largely has servants that are African or that are Black. um, and they like I've always felt that they've not had the opportunities to thrive in life because they're subjected to so much poverty. And every time I bring it up, it's like, oh, this is a systemic issue, we can't go against the system, so we just have to be part of it. I've had a problem with this since I was like 5 years old. I used to fight my mom on this like all the time, and now she's realizing it because everything's come to the forefront. Now everyone's apparently awakened, right? um, but it's just baffling to me that our communities have not spoken about this or made this apparent. And it's so important. Some people might justify it saying that why do we have to go out of our way, right, to
Yeah.
speak about this? I mean, race doesn't matter in Islam, so why do we have to say, oh, this one was Arab and this one was Black? Well, it does matter because I think it does play into our bias. And, when we look at the West and how they've portrayed the Black people, demonized them, it plays into that same bias. Whereas here now, when we're talking about this issue, we're looking at the fact that our imams, okay, what, six of them you said, could
Yeah,
very well be Black.
and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also.
The Prophet what?
He
Oh yeah,
married
yeah,
Africa.
yeah. There you go. So, how are we not talking about this? Because it's so important. It's so relevant.
This thing, I believe, currently now, some people. Okay, personally, I feel it's a trend to talk about racism. Yeah, because
Of course.
people are just coming out and talking.
Mm,
Yeah, like the Me Too movement. Yeah,
yeah.
people talked and finished, but ladies still women are getting raped, abused, and all that. It was just a trend.
Mm,
Will this continue in our communities or not? Yeah.
mm,
Next year, this day, in some of the mosques in East Africa, even right now, if you go as a Black person, or they won't let you in. Masjid, we believe masjid are for Allah.
mm,
We can't own a masjid. Masjid is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, you manage the mosque. God can come down to manage the mosque, yeah.
mm,
But if you go as an African, they won't allow you in.
mm,
If you go, for example, or they will ask for ID. And
mm,
if you're a light person, you can just get in without any questions. Yeah, it's like some people who some mate go by, for example, converted to Islam, don't understand this part of Islam.
mm,
But we try to tell them it is not Islam, it's
mm,
the Muslim. Yeah.
mm,
So we really need to work and talk about this until we manage to fix this.
mm,
Racism, it was not built on a one night thing. It is not something that happened overnight.
mm,
It built up and became what it is right now.
mm,
So it won't end with me and sheikhs talking, giving lectures. It's just from us changing some of the rules and protocols that we have.
mm,
And also, for example, in some of the things that people have in many communities, for example, I said Prophet ﷺ used to finish his problems with, for example, another tribe that had problem with Islam
mm,
by marrying someone from their tribe,
mm,
from their family. So they would become one family.
mm,
Yeah, even in some Sunni books, we have this narration that they said the Prophet prophesied that Muslims will go to conquer some countries. One of them he mentioned Egypt, and
mm,
he said that be nice to those people. Yeah, we are families with Egyptian. Yeah, he was
mm,
telling them that in, for example, in Iran they call for the domod, son-in-law there, or I have a kid with them
mm,
from their side because Maria al-Qibtiyya,
mm,
and also Ahlulbayt. When you go somewhere, you want to become one with those people.
mm,
Part of the thing that people need to do is getting married to each other.
mm,
Yeah, because if we are one, what is the difference between me and you?
mm,
He did that with Zaid and the Hashimiyah,
mm,
Zainab. He
mm,
did that with different between him himself and Maria al-Qibtiyya. And
mm,
also we have the Imams.
mm,
Yes, there is something that we need to look at.
mm,
The Khoja community who came to East Africa, let's say generally Indian communities
mm.
who came to East Africa, I think it's over 200 years now.
Yeah.
They came with the colonial powers, the
Mm,
UK, the Great Britain. Yeah,
mm,
they came with them as their head because they are the one who knew their ways.
mm,
Yeah, they knew English. They know what to do, to write, to help the
mm,
Britons doing their work. Yeah,
mm,
so they were the immediate race and people after these colonial powers. Yeah. So
Mhm.
for them, the next people who came on this line were the Africans or the locals. So
Mhm.
for them, they felt that they are better because I'm closer to power than you.
Mhm.
Yeah, you don't have an education. I have education. I can read, I can write, I know English, I can speak the master's language.
Mhm.
You don't know. Yeah,
Ugh.
it's true. We are talking the master's language currently.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's true. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
Mm.
And also, when you come with your knowledge, for
It gives me
example,
some anxiety in my neck. See, just thinking about
for, yeah. So the other thing that we see that is them themselves, the Nkoja communities, we make these jokes. Yeah, people in a family have their own issues.
it.
Yeah, but when they come out, we don't see them.
Mm,
Even in Koja communities, I believe, like also in Somali communities, many communities, they have their status and levels.
mm,
Yeah, we even call some Kojas black Kojas
mm,
because we believe other Kojas look at them as lesser Kojas. You
mhm.
know that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So there is those.
I'm married to a Pakistani Khoja, and I remember
Uh,
at the time this racism issue is interesting to me because I've grown up in a very tight knit East African culture, right? And when I wanted to marry my husband, my family was against it because they wanted me to. I mean, think about this: say Khoja from the same part of India. um,
yeah,
kind of have the same culture. Even the language is a bit similar. I mean, we spoke Swahili. Okay, that's the African part, but you have the Gujarati and the Hindi and the Urdu. But they
yeah,
were
yeah,
completely against it. It was a big thing for them to accept that I want to marry somebody who is a Pakistani Khoja. So now leave the other things aside. We can't even look outside of our tribe. So I think that this issue exists everywhere. Iranis, Pakistanis,
yeah.
everybody. Pakistanis has different classes too. You have the
Yes.
Punjabis. You have so everyone
The
has the
Pashtos,
tribal.
yeah.
Yeah.
So even now, yeah, for example, this is based on my experience and knowledge. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. In
Mhm.
Kojas, we have the Pakistani Kojas. After that, we have the East African Kojas, and now we have the UK and the US and Canadian Kojas. Yeah, yeah. The Kenyan Koja wants to get married to the Canadian Koja.
Mm.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
Pakistani Koja wants to at least UK, if you can't, at least East African, because these people have ties to UK and US and something like that. I don't know what would come next, the Kojas of Mars and
Yeah.
where.
Yeah.
So this thing is there. We
So like
can
you said,
move.
it's not an overnight thing. This is gonna take a while to change it, and it starts from like our own mindset. Like if it's hard for us, like you said, to marry outside of our own culture and to accept, and it goes back to this thing that when you marry within the culture. I've heard this a ton of times. When I wanted to get married 10 years ago, and I used to hear this all the time from my family that if you stay with marriage is hard as it is, you don't want to add more problems to it. And I can see what they're saying. Like I see their perspective, right? Because marriage is not a bed of roses, right? You have issues, you have things, and they're like, if you go outside of it, you're gonna have to learn their custom. We don't know their family history. Like our families need to know everything about everyone. And then here you have the Holy Prophet who's teaching you that look at the person, okay? Look at what's in front of you. You don't have to, a person is not their father and their mother, right? A person can be different. And you don't have to look at their status and their money and their skin color. So it's like a whole different way. And going back to my question about, culture and religion, it's two different things at this point when it comes to race and culture. When we hear the prophet's hadith on the pure Nubian woman, that boggled me. And learned about this now as I was preparing. So everything, guys, everything that we're talking about is new. I'm very ashamed to say this. I'm glad Sheikh is here to, give me knowledge about all this, but it's new to me, and I'm a practicing Muslim all my life. So can you expand on this hadith, and who was this woman?
We have usually I've seen in many books when it comes to this hadith, yeah,
Mhm.
because it's kind of general. Some I've seen say that it's this imam, it's that imam, but some say it was our imam of time, Imam Al Mahdi Ajalallahu Ta'ala Farjahu Sharif,
Mhm.
that his mother was from Nuba or Nubian. She was Nubian. You know, Nubians are currently can be found in Sudan,
Mhm.
in Kenya, in Uganda.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they are still around. Yeah, we have hadith that it is good to marry people, ladies from Nuba. So people still can practice this hadith. It's not something that you can't do. Yeah. Back to your previous question and this question, you said that why you don't know about these things.
Mhm.
You know, when all of us we are under this new order of the world, under the colonialism and all that, they try to separate between religion and our daily life.
Mhm.
So Islam, for many people, personally, because I'm a sheikh, talk with many people. We have this time we call them Muslims of Friday and Ramadan. Yes, he will do anything during the week. On Friday, he's with white kanzu or dish dash and the white cloth, and and he goes to masjid. He eats pilau on Friday or biryani. Yeah, so he's a Muslim. You know, someone said like, "I'm a Muslim. I pray Juma." You know, not I pray 5 times. I pray Juma and I
Mhm.
fast Ramadan. So for some people, Islam has become just these two things.
Mhm.
But when we try and now, Alhamdulillah, because many of the youth, because of the Alhamdulillah, social media, it has its good power and is good part and bad part. One of the good parts is many people, for example, I think you have seen my page on Instagram.
Mhm.
People come to me say like, Sheikh, I've been, for example, I didn't know about Islam. I'm a Muslim. Yeah,
Mhm.
but now I'm falling in love with Islam. I'm learning about Islam. They come with very deep questions because they read a lot. Yeah, it's like there is this hadith. I don't remember the exact Arabic word that says that it's like this. Yeah, learn your religion, don't inherit it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now people are. It's like people are becoming Muslims all over again,
Mhm.
reading, studying Islam. You were born Muslim, but that's the right way, by the way. You know, you you need to learn Islam like you are not a Muslim.
Mm.
Many people are Muslims because they are born Muslim. That's the
And
wrong
that's
way.
the problem. We see it with a lot of things. Many people wear hijab culturally, not understanding the essence and the obligation. There's many things we have to unlearn, relearn, just like racism. We have to unlearn what we've been taught or what our families have, taught us. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. It's not gonna be done overnight for sure. It needs to keep being at the forefront. I think this is, the thing about trends, when we see this Black Lives Matter movement. I covered Black Lives Matter movement before as well, when Philando Castile and that whole thing went viral. So then that again pushed the issue at the forefront. And then what? Couple years, nothing, right? Couple years, nothing.
Yeah,
And then there's another bandwagon, and there's another one. Like what? A few months ago, we're talking about Iran and the plane crash. We're talking about Kobe and his death. We talked about General Soleimani and his assassination. So I feel like we're living in this constant world of headlines. And then, of course, the last few months, we've just been, you know, COVID-19, pandemic. That's just captured our life. And now this is in the forefront again. So it's important, very important that we're not people of trends. We're not people of just awakening when the society brings something to the forefront. We should be ahead of that. But what I am glad is that I think for the first time this time, people are now in our culture. I'm just talking from personal experience that in our culture we're talking about this. Elders, my grandma is talking about this, and that's never happened. So I see that as progress. I see that as change. And the whole goal of life is to be better than you were yesterday, right? We just have to keep improving. And I do think though that we need to keep pushing this to the forefront. And going back to what you said about Imam al-Mahdi, many of my audience is global, Muslim, non-Muslim. We speak about the issues of justice, injustice here. And a lot of times I intersect my faith, which is Islam, with the idea of justice, because that's a huge reason as to why I speak up, um, and at the forefront about this. But talking about Imam al-Mahdi, there's, for those who don't know, Imam al-Mahdi is the awaited savior, the Messiah who Muslims, Shia and Sunni, believe he will come back to restore justice into the world. And then he will reign alongside Jesus. So Jesus is a huge part of, we believe, will come back to restore the world to justice. So there's a lot of rich things here that many people don't know about, and there's a lot to talk about between Christians and Muslims as well. But going back to what you said, that there is a theory that Imam al-Mahdi could be black, right? So
Yes,
of
yes.
course there's a source that says his mom was a Roman princess, and he could be that. But regardless of who his mother would be, we still have, six imams before him who are dark or who are black because of, the generational blackness. So I find it mind-boggling that the imam of our time could be black, when it comes to skin tones. Can you expand on that? Because how are we going to react to that if many of us have this internal racial bias towards people of color? How are we going
Uh,
to do that? Do you think that is that why a majority of people will turn away from the imam of the time when he comes back? Is he going to challenge the cultural norms that we hold so dear to us over religion sometimes?
uh, Let me put it in this way. Yeah? When we talk about that Imam of our Zaman, Al Imam Al Mahdi, being dark or black, yeah, the point at the end of the day, the point is his message, not his color.
Hmm.
Yeah, but these questions that if that's the important part of his him coming, his message and his points, yeah, if I say he's black,
Hmm.
he's white, it should not make you angry.
Hmm.
Get my point?
Yep.
You get my point, yeah?
Hmm.
Few months ago, I don't know if you saw the video. I made a video. I was at the Imam Breva alayhi salatu wasalam. I went for ziyara. So I asked people, "Are you racist?" I don't know if you watched the video or not.
No, I
So
will.
inshallah. So I asked people if you are racist or not. Yeah.
You asked
So
them
some of
point
the,
blank.
yeah, it says, "Are you racist?" Yeah. So that was the video.
I'm really gonna watch that video now.
Some people even said that, Sheikh, you are very angry on that video, yeah? So the thing is, for many of us Muslims and followers of Al-Bayt, generally all Muslims, yeah,
Hmm.
we have the mentality of seeing holy people
Hmm.
very white.
Hmm.
So I asked for real if we are not racist, yeah. will it be okay for imam to be, for example, now, yeah, so some people sent those videos to some of their friends.
Mm-hmm.
Someone texted me, Sheikh, someone is saying that imam could be black, any of our imams, yeah, is shirk,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
shirk of Allah and Ahlulbayt. Like, and he said that you need to, he needs to confirm with this ayatollah, that ayatollah, and things like that. So
Wow.
or one of my own mom, many years ago, alhamdulillah, we got a chance to take her to ziyarah of
Mm-hmm.
Imam Ridha alayhi salam. So someone mocked her because of her skin color,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and she said, why are you talking like that? And your own imam was dark.
Mm-hmm.
That lady replied to her that, say astaghfirullah. You
Wow.
know, no. See, one of my Kenyan sheikhs, he wrote his thesis on BA,
Mm-hmm.
during his BA, about Bilal
Mm-hmm.
al-Habashi.
Mm-hmm.
These Arab friends of us, he came to him and said, Sheikh, you are racist.
Mm-hmm.
The Arab told the Kenyan guy that you are racist.
Mm-hmm.
So he asked, why? He said, why are you writing about Bilal? Why don't you write about Miqdad? Why don't you write about Salman al-Farsi and all those people? He replied, to be honest, you are the one who is racist. Why? Because you are the one who should have wrote about Bilal, but we don't have enough book about Bilal.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
Yeah.
some people are, they are using this trick. They're saying, why you talking about Imam being black is important. I haven't said he's black, but I'm saying, if I said like today Imam is black, yeah,
Because it's the
they will
same
say,
argument. No, I'll tell you why. Because that's what people are saying to me.
they,
They're
they
saying to
get
me,
they
why?
get like, it's not important for Imam to be black. Okay, if it's not important, why are you getting pissed? Why are you getting angry?
Exactly.
Don't
Exactly.
be angry.
Exactly.
That's not the important part. It's message, not the skin color. No, Sheikh, don't be like that. Imam must be very white, like the moon. No one is white like the moon, man. We said that Ahlulbayt used to take slaves,
Yeah.
teach them, yeah,
Mm.
teach them Islam. They become Arif. You know what is Arif? To be, for example, in our Shia side, like Atullah Bahjat, or
Mm.
some other ulama who could, in the Sufi side, on the Sunni side, they said they could walk from, for example, from Africa to Mecca within few seconds. Yeah, they could do some duas, they could see things usual people can't see. Yeah, those are, when we say Arif,
Mm.
we say something like that. Let's go back to the point where Imam Mahdi is coming to save all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I have this theory, yeah, and I believe some
Here,
have think,
let me sit
yeah.
for this theory.
See, Imam Mahdi, the point of Allah saving Jesus or Prophet Isa alayhi salam
Mhm.
for the last days to be with Imam Mahdi, yeah, is to bring all people together.
Mm.
You see, all cultures, all races, all religion together.
Mhm.
So someone was asking me, Sheikh, why Prophet Jesus said, because half of the universe, the world population of the world are Christians. The next biggest religion is Muslims. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we have the biggest religion in the world
Mhm.
come together: Imam Mahdi and
Mhm.
Prophet Isa.
Mhm.
Yeah. Maybe you know, when someone is not black,
Mhm.
not white, in the middle,
Mhm.
that means he's balanced, because white people won't have a big reason to be so much racist. Like, they will have to tone down their racism. And also Africans will say, like, he's from our side. Yeah, this continent, they will also come to help of Imam al-Mahdi.
Mhm.
So if the idea is to bring people together,
Mm.
definitely Allah has given those people the abilities to bring people together.
Mm.
That's my theory. So him being, I'm not saying he's dark, but I'm saying definitely he has some color.
Mm.
That's my belief based on the hadith that I've seen and all that. So if he's planning to bring people together, definitely be on the middle.
Mm. What can we do moving forward? We've learned that, Prophet lived in a very racist society. We learned that, he lived in a tribal society, and he dealt with things by, bringing people together, by showing us his footsteps were to focus on our character and our inner light, not the skin tones of people. How do we, move forward from here? How do we strive to be better, and rid ourselves of this racism or tribalism? I think that exists in all of us, actually. Like, I can't say, oh,
We all have it. We all
we
have
all
it.
have it. Anyone who's different than us, right? Anyone who looks different, practices something differently, we have that. How do we stop
Each
looking
differently.
at, how do we find the inner light within ourselves and look for inner light within others as well?
There is this hadith, I think, from Al Imam Ali alayhi salam. I think it can be found in Nahjul Balagha that if you don't some specific good manner, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
don't have it in you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just act like you do.
Mm-hmm.
Deep down, you are not generous. Give something
Mm-hmm.
today, give something tomorrow, give something after tomorrow. You will feel bad. You will feel like, oh, I'm giving away my money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in time, your physical actions will reflect on your heart. And
Mm-hmm.
at then, the heart and body, they are connected. Whatever you think so much affects your body, and vice versa. Whatever you do so much will also affect your heart. Yeah. The first thing that we need to do is sometimes we are with our friends,
Mm-hmm.
we see someone from different race coming, we make special jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can start from there, like remind ourselves, for example, when this time comes, like uh, our friends mention something about someone or some tribe, some race, some nationality,
Mm-hmm.
we okay, we find it funny, yeah, but we should not laugh.
Mm-hmm.
This is the easiest way. You won't laugh and remind your friends, by the way, guys, this is not the akhlaq and the what the Prophet ﷺ wanted from us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next, you try to learn their culture. Yeah. Try to know about them.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the in Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that تعالوا إلى كلمة سواء بيننا وبينكم. Allah is he's telling the Prophet ﷺ to call the Christians that to come under one word that unite us. So definitely, me, I remember I did a story during Ramadan uh, before the George Floyd thing. Yeah, one of the ways that I found it's interesting to find racism was to share foods. Yeah, I shared East African foods. Everyone said that, Sheikh, we have this in our country. We have that in our country. Different names, maybe some different things on the recipe, but okay, definitely I shared things that they are kind of common. Yeah, we found unity in food. Yeah, we look at the things that can unite us. From there, inshallah, we can grow and understand our differences. I don't like, let's say, hot food. You like soup. I don't like this. You don't. You will understand. But when you don't interact, you just live behind your walls. I live behind my walls of ideology and thinking. And in many cases, for example, me, I've seen, you rarely see, for example, someone maybe Indian coming to African house just as friends chilling together, and
Yeah.
vice versa. Yeah, you
Yeah.
always see, for example, in your parties, like personal parties, you see who are you inviting. Yeah, you'll see that, maybe I can at least once a year have a different kind of party that I can have people from different cultures at my house. You
Exactly.
never know. Inshallah, we can do that. We if we break these boundaries, we definitely will be helping. It will be a part of preparing this world for coming of Al Imam Al Mahdi Sharif, and also to have one ummah, as the Prophet ﷺ wanted from us. Corona has been a big opportunity for some of us. We spent time with our families. We had a whole Ramadan where people spend time with their families, also understood that how hard is to be a sheikh, not knowing many things. You understand, oh, I did not do this, I did not do that. Oh, you keep on calling your sheikh, this is happening. So you know that you don't know things.
Yeah.
And now after Ramadan, a week after Ramadan, we have the Black Life Matter movement that is going on in the world. So as Muslims, it is a good opportunity for us to reflect, to think where we went wrong and how we can change things. Definitely, if we went wrong and ruined something, definitely there is a way to fix it.
Sheikh, thank you so much again for coming on. Inshallah, we will do a part 2 and maybe a part 3 or 4. We'll see. And inshallah, I will see you guys soon. Stay brave, stay free. Zainab writes.
Will you take my hand? We can make our stand. If your world falls apart, I'd start a riot. If night falls in your heart, I'd light the fires. In the dark, when you sound the alarm, we'll find each other's arms. For your love, all you are, I'd start a riot.